spring practice, and how much bigger an impact do you feel like he can have on the defense this year?
Right. Well, you know, Lorenzo did have an impact for us as a freshman, and we thought the greatest value that he had was more of an edge rusher, a speed guy off the edge. I mean, that's kind of where his reputation was coming out of high school. But if you're going to play every down, you got to play the run. You got to be able to set the edge on some plays and be able to handle fullbacks coming at you on the power play, things of that nature. And so, you know, he's becoming more and more physical, and he's learning more how to play the run game better. So he's just becoming more of a complete player. And but he's one of many guys that in that position for us that are going to help us play well.
Coach, we'll go here in the middle aisle, right in front of you, about 6 rows back.
Jordan Hill with the red and black. Coach, how quickly last year did it become apparent to you that Nick Chubb could contribute as a freshman?
Well, when you watch the guys in preseason camp and you get into your first scrimmage type situations, and you just watch them. I mean, a guy like him, it doesn't take long to figure it out. And we saw it in high school too, obviously. And the running back position is probably one that young guys can take to and make a contribution more so than maybe an offensive lineman. There's so much to learn as an offensive lineman. But you know, not until he really had to start carrying the load did I realize how much stamina he could have in that game, in an SEC game. You know, at times carrying it 25, 35 times in a game was pretty impressive. And that's not our goal for our backs. And I don't want a guy to carry 35 times a game his whole career, all season long. We want to share the load, but we had some issues with injuries and all. And you know, so there wasn't a lot of depth at that position. So he probably carried it more last year in certain games than he probably will this year.
Coach, we'll go right down front. Pat, second row.
Hey, Mark, Pat Dooley, the Gainesville Sun.
Yes, sir.
Do you think you are a perfect example of how hard this league is, and that you've had so much success and you still get so much criticism?
I didn't know I got criticism. You know, I think the big thing, I know when I first started coaching 32 years ago, whatever it was, with Coach Bowden, and being in what we call hideaway, and him talking about notes, and you know, a few things he talked about in the very beginning of those sessions, and one was criticism. He said, you know, it's just the nature of the beast in the profession. He said, if you can't take criticism, then you shouldn't coach. And I think anybody who's in a leadership role is going to get critiqued. They're going to have people are going to have opinions. Even as a parent, if you say you got to be in at 11 and everybody else gets to stay out till midnight, you know, you might get criticized for that, or you may hear grumbling and all that kind of thing. But the goal as a leader is to do what you think is in the best interest of the people that you're in charge of, the people that you're blessed to be in authority over, and focus on that. And that's what I do on a daily basis. I don't worry about anything, whether it's good or bad. I mean, people have said some good things over the years too.
Coach, we'll go about midway back in the left section.
Yeah, Edgar Thompson with Orlando. So much focus on Nick Chubb, a lot of other playmakers. What's the it's a good problem to have, but what's the challenge of kind of making sure guys are getting involved?
Right, there's no challenge really. It's just more of a, like you say, it's a privilege, it's a blessing to have, you know, playmakers, and the goal is to keep people fresh, keep them healthy, you know, find what guys can do well and get them in position to do it. But again, it takes everybody doing their job for anybody to have success. I mean, Nick Chubb had great success last year, you know, when you look at the numbers. But he had a bunch of guys blocking for him. Fullbacks, tight ends, linemen, quarterbacks getting in the right play, receivers blocking downfield. And then him, you know, being God-gifted and doing his thing. So I think the more playmakers you have, the merrier. And that's not too big of a challenge to try to figure out how to get it done. I'd rather have the problem of a bunch of them rather than trying to figure out everybody who can make a play.
Coach, we'll go to our aisle on the right.
Dwayne Rankin, Montgomery Advertiser. Coach, obviously you came so close a couple years ago to winning the SEC championship. How frustrating has it been not being able to get back there, and what's going to happen this year for you all to be in that position again?
Well, obviously you got to win the East. I mean, that's all there is to it. And you know, we're going to play 8 games in league play, and most of them within the Eastern Division. And those head-to-head matchups are crucially important, but, all the games count. And, so the goal is to get back to Atlanta. The goal is to get there and then win it when you get there. But, our focus is on the process again. Our focus isn't on getting there as much as what do we have to do on a daily basis to earn the right for victory. And that's what the guys have been doing throughout the off-season, the spring, and the summer workouts.
We'll go down there to our left, second row, Bob.
Team Bob Wolf, Southern Democrat Gazette. I know you guys took care of business against the West last year against Arkansas and Auburn, but the West has won 6 straight titles and has been pretty successful against the East lately. What is going on with that?
Oh, I don't know, other than when you get to the SEC championship game, the East haven't got it done, and we've been a part of that. So, the bottom line is that the best team from each side is going to be there. There's going to be one game, and the winner is it. They're the SEC champion, obviously, and so the bottom line is, like for Georgia, hey, let's find a way to get to Atlanta. Let's get the job done when we get there, and move on to the playoff. I mean, that's what it's all about. That's what he's trying to do. But things go in cycles, and at this moment, the West has certainly done taking care of business on that day.
We'll go about 3/4 back in the section on the left.
Good morning, Coach. James Drew, Star Sports Digest. You mentioned this is your 15th year. How have you seen the league change overall on the field since you started in 2001, and where do you feel like it's going?
You said on the field?
Yeah, on the field.
There was always great coaches in my opinion. There's always great venues in my opinion. Going back 15 years. I mean, things change as far as style of play. Things change as far as how recruiting works and social media and things. Change in that regard. But as far as the play, I'd say the style of play, there's a lot more spread than there was back when I first started. It was a little bit more of a defensive league, I would say, when I first got here, and I think it's still a defensive league, a great defensive league, but I think, offenses are a little more willing to come out of the style of just hammering the ball at you and play action and all that type of thing. So, those things are a little bit different, but for the most part, it's just tremendous competition at stadiums that are jam-packed full of fans that love their teams and are willing to support them.
Hey, Coach, we'll go over here to our aisle on our right. Right here on the aisle.
Hi, Mark. David Morrison, Columbia Tribune. Circling back to cost of attendance, how good do you think the understanding is with coaches around the league where these figures come from and how they're arrived at for service?
I don't know the answer to that. You'd have to ask each coach, but each university has their way of doing it. And this cost of attendance number has been around a long, long time. It's just all of a sudden become a big deal within our world because of how the players are able to get that cost of attendance figure. So, I think everybody does it just a little bit different. There's not a rubber stamp that says this is how everybody goes about it, and it's a university decision, and maybe sometimes a board of regents decision within a state university system. So it's been around for